Hello there everybody, my name is DBC and welcome! Today we're here to talk about Overlord Season 4, and we're going to be looking at the most recent episode, episode 13, and we're going to be looking at the anime as a whole, and I'll be telling you guys what my impressions on Overlord was as a whole. So before I talk about the season as a whole, I thought we should take a little bit of time to talk about episode 13 of Overlord. So what did I think about that episode? That episode was definitely really good. It definitely went beyond what I was expecting. I wasn't exactly sure what they were going to do for the finale, but I will say that I thought it was definitely really good. So now the kingdom has been completely destroyed by the Sorcerer King and all of his companions, and you can just say that there is no happy ending to this anime episode. Yet, I will say that this was a phenomenal episode nonetheless. And Renner is absolutely crazy. She's a demon now, and wow, is she crazy. Like, really crazy. The fact that her entire kingdom is just destroyed, and she does not care whatsoever. In fact, she's quite happy with it, actually. She's like, wait, hey, as long as I get what I want, I don't really care if a kingdom or two gets destroyed. And I was like, wow, that's really crazy. The only thing she really cares about is having Climb with her. And wow, that's another thing too. Climb dying in that episode and then being revived as well. That's crazy. Now, the fight was actually somewhat cool. Like, obviously, Climb has no chance of beating any of the people in that room. That much is obvious. But I thought it was still pretty cool and admirable for him to still fight off against the Sorcerer King. Now, there was one thing I thought would have been interesting, and this could still technically happen, but I was kind of wondering what would happen if Sebas was in the room with all of them. Like, what would Climb's reaction be? Because he doesn't know that Sebas is part of Ainz's group, but then you just see Sebas there, and he'll be like, what? You mean this guy who helped us, this friendly old butler, is working for this evil Sorcerer King? I mean, that would have been kind of crazy. And you know what? That could still happen, honestly. Anyways, back to what I was saying, though. Let's talk more about Renner. That whole dancing scene was just phenomenally done, and the music was also really nice and chilling. And wow, way to make Renner seem absolutely evil. Like, we just saw an entire kingdom getting flattened. And yet somehow Renner just seems more evil than Ainz himself. How is that even possible? I don't even know, but that is just really well done to the anime. And I figured I might as well mention this now that we're so far into the video, that the melody that you're hearing in the background is the melody that Renner was singing with the song while she's just dancing in the last episode. That melody is just so good, I couldn't help but just kind of play it out a little bit into a MIDI and just make a little tiny cover of it. If you guys want to hear a whole version of that, you guys just let me know and I'll work it out and I'll upload it onto here, so yeah. And I suppose I should talk a little bit more about some of the past episodes before episode 13, like episode 11 and 12. Those are also some really good episodes. Heck, even episode 10, even. Those whole sequence of episodes were really well done. From episode 10, where you see the prince, I don't remember his name, I'm not even going to try to guess it, but the prince, right? And you can kind of see him have a heart-to-heart with Ainz. I mean, Ainz doesn't have a heart, but you know what I mean, right? They have a heart-to-heart, and then when the prince comes back, he just gets his head chopped off, he gets betrayed, and then that just angers Ainz. That was a really well-done episode. And then we have episode 11, where we have a new character that can finally somebody that can somewhat put up a fight against Ainz and his people. Maybe not a very good fight, but you know what? It's a much better fight than any other character that we've seen so far. Like, he can actually probably take some hits. He can land a few hits. He probably wouldn't win, but you know what? It is cool to see a character that can actually hold his own for a little bit. And that, I'm talking about the character Riku. And yeah, he was not fighting against Ainz, he was fighting against Pandora's actor, but still, I thought that was a really cool fight. And from what I've heard from the light novel readers, there was a few things that was cut out from the fight. Well, not just a few things, I think that's an understatement, but for what it's worth, I thought the fight was really good. And I'm of the opinion you can't always adapt every single little thing from a light novel, so I thought this was pretty good. And then we have episode 12. I thought that episode was also really, really good. Not quite as good as episode 11, but it definitely was good. With Brain, I will say it was a sad thing to see Brain die in that episode, but hey, it is what it is. He fought off against somebody who was just way too powerful for him, and he died as a result from that. But hey, you know what? It was still a cool fight nonetheless, even if it was short-lived. But Kokitas, he respected Brain, and that's really cool. I'm glad to see that he at least respected Brain. And I've heard quite a few things in that Brain did end up becoming really powerful by the end of that fight, which is really cool. It's good to hear that kind of thing, because, you know, that's just something he's just been striving for, and it's good that he at least got that before he died, and he died an honorable death. And then another thing, the thing that I thought was really shocking, and I thought this was the most shocking thing in the entire season 4 of Overlord, in episode 12, right? Everybody's just chilling in the room, right? You have Renner, Climb, Lockius, and all the other people, Evil Eye, Brain, and then they just go through this intricate setup just so they can, out of nowhere, just start attacking Lockius. And the only reason they attacked her in the first place was so they could weaken her, and they can mind control her so they can get out of the kingdom, because they did not want to stay there. And that was the craziest thing to me, because it just came out of nowhere. You're just sitting, and just like, And maybe you could probably pick up on the hints when they were mentioning the bitter tea, and how they took Brain out of the room or whatever. Maybe you could have figured it out, but still, for some reason, it just blindsided me, and it came out of nowhere, and they just started attacking her out of nowhere. I was like, whoa! That was the most shocking thing that I've seen that season, and it was definitely a big highlight for me. Another 2 more highlights I thought that were really good about Overlord and stood out a little bit was the episodes with Ainz when he was in the arena, and he was showing off his powers, right? And he's fighting off against the Warrior King, and he just absolutely demolishes him in front of everybody. And Jerkniv was cheering against Ainz, and then when he saw that Ainz beat him with absolutely 0 effort, it just breaks down even more than he already has been broken down, right? He just breaks down even further, and he just gives up at that point, and I thought that was a pretty crazy episode to see. And then lastly, the last episode that I thought was also somewhat crazy, but I at the same time think it was a little bit disappointing, was when Ainz was fighting against those dragons, right? He goes inside to see the dwarves, and then he goes and fights the dragons. Well, he kills 2 of them with absolute ease, and the way he killed them was somewhat disappointing, because there was a line in the first season where he said dragons are some of the most powerful creatures in Yggdrasil, and then he just one-shots them like it's nothing. And I thought that part was kind of disappointing. The lead up to that was kind of hype, but then it just kind of, it was a little bit sad to see that they were killed so easily. That part was a little disappointing, but nonetheless I thought it was still standout, because at the end of the day, the way it made me feel was kind of like, oh, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And even though my expectations were not met, it still was a good feeling to have. So one character I thought I want to talk about briefly would be Philip. Now, Philip is an absolute idiot. You couldn't have written a more idiotic character than Philip. Like, the way he just is playing with fire, and he has no idea what he's doing. He's just completely oblivious. He just does whatever he wants without any fear of consequences or repercussions. He just decides, oh, I'm going to mess with the Sorcerer King. That seems like a good idea. And what happened? An entire kingdom got destroyed because that guy is an absolute idiot. And you know he got the punishment he deserved. I only wish you could have seen some of it, but I have no idea what kind of punishment it is. It probably isn't suitable to be seen on an anime. And so before I wrap up this video, there's one thing that was definitely interesting with this entire season, is that they did an entire skip of an arc, I believe. I don't know if it's one arc or two arcs, but they skipped some material, right? And the reason they did that was because they wanted to adapt that part of Overlord into a movie. Now, I don't know what kind of content it's going to contain, so I don't know exactly what I'm missing out on. I know some people are complaining and they're saying, oh, this is a bad move. I don't particularly see that as a bad move. In fact, I'm quite happy it was kind of done that way because we got to see Platinum, Dragon Lord, or Riku fight off against Pandora's actor, and I thought that was really cool. And I had known a little bit about it. Like, I had heard hints about someone powerful, or somewhat powerful. And so I think it would have been a shame if we didn't get to see that kind of fight. So the fact that we got it kind of early, because they decided to skip an arc, I'm not going to complain about that. And in terms of the movie, I'm definitely going to watch it when it comes out. I can't wait to see what kind of things we're missing out with on Overlord. So when that movie comes out, I'll definitely watch it and I'll definitely do a review on it, because I think that would be a really cool thing to do. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but I imagine it's coming out somewhat soon, like maybe 2023, early 2023, hopefully not later. But we will see. I'll definitely check out the movie for sure. And before I end this video, I thought I just wanted to add this one in, that I really like the ED for this season. The ED was absolutely amazing. Like, the ending song, just, amazing. When I first heard that, I had to go on YouTube and search that up, and then I just played it on loop. Yeah, it was just amazing. I love it. I might do a cover of that ED one day. We will see, though. We will see. But yeah, that's about it, guys. What did you guys think about Overlord Season 4? Did you guys like it? Did you guys not like it? What are your opinions? Leave them down in the comments down below. And if you made it this far into the video, you should make sure to subscribe. I'm going to be doing more anime review content and anime music covers, etc., etc. And yeah, and also don't forget to hit that like button as well. That's really going to help me out, and I really would appreciate it. And thank you guys so much for watching. My name is DBC, and I am signing out.